So, big series here, folks, because everyone's been talking about Hera. What is Hera going to do this season? He won Season 3, had great performances in the first and second season as well. But also, if there was ever a time to get some wins on the guy, might be the first series. A good example of that was the Viper. Viper came in possibly a little shaky, possibly a little rusty in his first series. You know, it's January, so after the holidays and all that. And Dark was fully prepped, did lots of practice sessions, was really confident, and he took 2 games off the Viper, beat him 2-1. Also, the last time that Nicov played Hera, he beat him 3-1. So people have been excited for this. I've been excited for this series ever since I saw the pairing. Nikov's playing as the Lithuanians here on Cross. And as I was just saying, this is not a map that is very easy to start a series. It's immediately very aggressive with lots of multitasking. So both players will need to be warmed up. And Nicov more than likely going to dock this side. But he obviously could always head over to this side as well. And then Hera a little bit closer to that pond there in the south. So I'd imagine his first dock is probably going to go there. But every win counts. And it's $40 per win. And so in terms of the total, in terms of how the group plays out, top 3 go to playoffs. Hera is certainly expected to be in that top 3, and then playoffs you can fight to be the champion once the group stage concludes. But Nikov's had a really interesting story in Titans League. So Nicov had a great first season. Second season got relegated, went down to gold, and then he had to get himself promoted again, and he did well to do that. So it has been kind of a topsy-turvy Titans League story for Nicov. But in my opinion, Nikov's playing the best Age of Empires I've seen from him, well, probably since that Titans League season. I don't know if someone can give me the date on that. And what was that, 2 years ago or something? Yeah, he's been really sharp. And I know that he has been playing practice sessions for this. Because he is really supportive of a lot of the younger Argentinians who are on his, the new team. Shoot, is it called Wonders? The WR team, sorry, very disrespectful of me. I think the Wonders team, there's a lot of great players on it. And then there's a lot of young names surrounding Nicov on his Argentinian teams, right? You got Prisma and Lucho, who are both in gold. So I know he's been doing some sessions with them to get them in shape and make sure they perform well in Gold League. So Doc's out down here in the south, kind of to be expected. Dock is over here to the west for Nicov. Nicov gets the fishing ships out earlier because he's Lithuanians. And he went to wood earlier because he started with some extra food. So kind of expected we see that build these days, but still, nothing's a given. Now, Hera hasn't taken this boar yet. Very, very late boar timing, I believe. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly going to be on a sheep here. And not on his second boar. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening here. If I'm Nicov, I'm looking for any edge I can get. I don't steal that, but I camp that for a second. And Nicov says, no, actually, I'm just going to scout. Okay. So maybe a little sloppy from here. It's not the end of the world, but when you're up against Lithuanians, you certainly want to have as competitive an uptime as possible. And Nicov just wants that scouting intel. And Nicov will click up here. Right after Loom, he'll click up. He has seen that Hera's docked down here. Sees the house, which is as good as confirming that. And can pretty much tell that Hera's TC must be here. So it's not going to be easy for anyone to get wins off of Hera in the group. One single win here from Nicov gives him an advantage over all the others. If Hera gets even stronger as group stage goes on. So this would be huge for him. I wonder where Nikov's confidence is right now. What are the pressure levels like? This is certainly not as high pressure as playoffs will be. Playoffs are a do or die situation. So some people perform better in that super high pressure. Some people perform worse. But I think he should understand that there's no better opportunity to get wins off of Hera, and he's going to come out swinging. Look at this, guys. He's got a Vil walking forward here. And Hera He didn't see the scout, but this is pretty standard to check. And he looks over here, and he is going to find the dock is going up here from Nicov. Nicov will get that dock up. Hera might choose to make 2 docks here. That's normally the response. But what this does cancel out of the equation for Hera is a good man-at-arm play. He's got to invest a lot into defending his fish. But good job from Hera to find this. Nice job from Nicov. I think he also realized he was spotted there, but maybe I'm wrong. Nicov was late with his barracks, but that's all adapted because he wants to open with some fires. Nicov, do not forward fish, bro. We saw this yesterday from someone. Don't go with the offensive fishing ships. Nicov, bro, don't fish offensively. Please notice that. I think he tried to make a fishing ship at home. He must have misclicked. He's just Maybe it's a build. Maybe it's a fake. Hold on. This might be a fake. Because Hera is going to see that dock. Hera's going to assume that that's like 5 fire galleys. That might be an intentional bait. I mean, it's definitely a mistake. I think it was from Veleza yesterday. Or maybe it was Sato. Because he made like a fishing ship forward and a fire ship at home. There's the range from Nicov. And Hera is just waiting for pressure to come out from this dock, and it's not happening. Yeah, that's not a misclick from... That's a calculated move. Hera, he knows those TCs are not going to do too much, and Hera goes for the lame here, and this is something Hera kind of started, and he's going to continue with it here. Frustrating for Nicov. There's not much you can do. On a hybrid map, you don't have many villagers underneath the TC, and the TC arrows just... They're not accurate. And so Hera destroys 200 food there from Nicov with that move. And also his scout has barely lost HP. Nice play from Hera. And there's a lot going on. And he even snipes the next one as well. So must be frustrating for Nicov to have been up against that. And he's got a lot of wood to spend right now. But he's not exactly been able to spend it. Hera is expecting this to potentially be a demo. This is very interesting. He's making 5 fire galleys to defend this pond. And there's only a fishing ship in there. So, like, if Nicov can do a lot else with his other resources, if he can fish boom here, if he can fish boom here, if he can have good army on land, things could get interesting. The Hera scouts, they're fully focused on coming over here to kill this Vill. Villager for now is walled in. And Nikov's moving forward. Just wanted to check if Nicov knew Hera was going scouts. He does. So 2 spearmen, 2 archers is a really nice play against what Hera's making. And now Hera's going to make more fish in this pond. But he did invest a lot into a pond that he pretty much had already won. And scouts haven't killed too much beyond sheep so far. Hera's tracking this nicely. Nicov advancing forward. And Hera's hoping to just buy a little bit of time here. So he can get his own range up. Nicov going for pretty big walls. This villager will also survive. And Hera's walling in towards the TC. But just like we talked about before, there's not a lot of vills underneath that TC. There's probably enough to fire some arrows there. But Hera full damage control mode to just keep this army out. Nicov may consider running through. Never mind. His scout goes down, so there's certainly enough firepower there. And Hera's looking for this Vill, which is not here. Villager escaped. Nikov's walled. And Nikov's trying to wall the rest of his base. It seems like he will probably do that. So an interesting game so far as Nicov now comes over here with the dock. So Nikov's docked the north. Nicov obviously has the starting dock. He's now docking the east. Nicov will make a fishing ship here. He doesn't see that Hera is docked there. Hera hasn't made anything just yet. Hera will use the market. Pretty defensive outlook from him, in all honesty. Beyond the sheep, he hasn't been that aggressive here, but Nicov just double-checking everything. Nikov's fully walled at this point. And Hera's only working with this pond. And now that he's got this pond and he's got some fishing ships in queue, Nicov brings his archers over. And this will be a nice snipe there. There's nothing Hera could do to save that Vill. That's great job from Nicov, because now he knows about this. Hera's still fishing here, unaware that Nikov's over there. So I find it to be kind of a reactive game from Hera, which he can do a lot, and he can still get away with it. As long as he is allowed to, as long as he plays safe, he has confidence that he's going to make some big things happen. But those that love the aggression, Japanese typically can go for the man-at-arms. They're the ones offensive with the docks on cross. It has not been that for Hera so far. Hera's collected a little bit more in the way of resources. He'll be up to Castle Age a little bit faster. But now he's up against 2 docks over here. And Nicov getting what value he can from the spearmen and the archers. And I know Hera's army is just going to come directly over here to try and find whichever villager built that dock. And again, Hera's fishing ships. This will get interesting now. So he's got 500 food remaining on the deep fish here, and then he's out. And we'll see if he transitions into some fish traps. A nice job from Hera. That's kind of expected. I'm not really sure what more you can do to save that Vil. And Nicov... Wow, he has a lot of archers. I mean, it'll be around 10. I think something Nicov needs to do as well is he needs to house wall the walls that are far away from his base. Nikov's food eco is crazy. I mean, Hera's is as well. Remember, most of those fish are on this pond, and so he's going to be fish trapping. You know, if he fish traps on this dock, though, those fish traps could be sniped by crossbowmen. Japanese Cov archers are really strong. Hera will go for that. Double range from him. And Hera also walks this way to see Nikov's got a dock. Here, Hera... I don't know if he's really planning on trying to re-win water, but he could. And now here comes Nicov. Upgrades flying in for the wood. Should have the crossbow upgrade as well. Again, Hera's starting to stack fish traps here. If he stacks a lot of fish traps and the crossbows come directly there, like, that could be an expensive loss. And oh, there is a hole here for Nicov. The auto scouts from Hera found the hole. Or maybe it was an auto scout. It looks like he stopped them, so he doesn't alert Nicov to that. Nicov sees one scout. He'll see the CA now. And then he's got his crossbows here, but Nicov cannot let those units into his base. Look, he just double-checked because he saw the scout. And he'll notice that. And now Hera will need some defense because the crossbowmen are here. Nicov will win this pond, but similar to what Nicov did earlier, Hera just made one ship there. He wasn't really planning on contesting. And now Nikov's running through. I mean, if Nicov can get to that gold, Hera could have some really awkward times here. I love the confidence from Nicov. He had the bait with the forward fishing ship, which is not a common play. And even just taking Hera off the gold is a good move for him. But look at the confidence from Hera to just run right back to the gold. It's amazing. Nicov will drop TCs behind this. Nicov kind of feels as though these crossbows are doomed at this point. So he'll micro his heart out here. I'm surprised. Hera should lose villagers to this. I'm shocked that he came back to the gold like this. He's losing CA. In the end, he'll probably clear it up. It's not the end of the world. But nice shot for Nicov. 3 villager kills from, what, 8 units? I think he'll take that. The worry now for Nicov is obviously going to be, how does he stop the Cav archers? But he is Lithuanians. And they do have really strong skirmishers. Hera, most of his food eco is those fish traps over here. And what's remaining of the fishing ships. With Japanese, it's extremely strong. And I think the thing that Hera needed the most was the TCs. He'll add that now, but he will probably need to have some siege as well. Really close game. And also, Nicov, even with heavy plow right now. So he's not fish trapping. Nikov's playing cross how people played cross up until, like, 2024, and the fish boom thing got really strong. And I think these days, like, it does kind of depend, right? Like, obviously, fish traps are a little bit more exposed. It's obviously different focus. But I think optimal play, at least for Japanese, is you go for those fish traps. The Lithuanians are definitely the stronger civ here if they're evenly matched in the Imperial Age. I think, like, Just 60 skirms from Lithuanians with a couple hand cannons pretty much stops everything that Japanese can do. Japanese would probably want cav archers and halbs in late game. Of course, people would love to see samurai. Maybe some samurai could feature against skirms. Hera gets a villager snipe, but Nicov has ballistics. And Hera seemingly planning on clicking up to imp here, but his CA have not accomplished a whole lot here. So it is 3 pawns versus 1. Hera's 1 pawn is all he's focusing with right now. There's not a ton that Nicov can really do, and it's not natural for a player to think about sitting next to this with ranged units to snipe the fish traps. But I do think that would be, like, this would be an amazing position for a siege push, actually. Nikov's thinking more about the standard map control. Hera's going to have a really nice imp time here. Nicov, though, is on stone. His farming eco is fantastic. Skirms don't actually have armor, but they have ballistics, and they'll run into Hera's base here. You probably don't want to dive fully into Hera's base because you might get trapped in there. There might be some knights or siege that come out, but I know kind of awkward here for Hera. Lose a couple vills, but now Nicov sees the siege, and now Nicov will back away with the skirms. Japanese trash units are fully upgraded. They're very good, but Lithuanian trash units have more armor, and they're faster. So I would prefer, if this gets to kind of a trash war, I would definitely prefer the Lithuanians. Hera's adding some knights now, so he won't go imp, which is what I thought he was going to do with his res bank. Nicov just can't help himself. He's such a micro nerd. Still no armor on those skirms, so the CA from Hera certainly do some damage here. But Nicov backs away. Now Nikov's resources are rising pretty nicely. And Hera, a bit of a weird spot for him to be with these CA, actually. He probably hasn't realized yet that Nicov has ballistics. He'll micro away from ballistics pretty nicely, but the siege and the knights are even struggling to catch up to those skirmishers right now. Castle from Hera, from Nicov. Nicov clicks imp. Hera will soon click imp. It's been a very boomy game. Hera has bloodlines and Hera has armor, so these skirms could definitely be killed by those 2 knights in time. Without the armor, the Lithuanian skirms could actually kill it off. But I think if Nicov brings in a couple more skirms, because he's Lithuanians, he should be able to protect everything he needs. And there goes Hera up to imp as well. I told you guys, like, Nikov's no joke right now. And the last time he played Hera, he beat him 3-1. Like, this is... Nicov is very well prepared. He's in very good shape. And there's no better time to surprise, well, viewers, but also surprise Hera than the first round. The Hera's knights didn't kill all that much in the end. The front of Hera's base is wide open right now. He'll start to drop a castle. This could be a dangerous castle. This could be a really dangerous castle. It does come down to the micro, but Nicov has a big group of skirms. He also has 3 mangonels. Looking at the front of Hera's base right now, that's stone and gold. Look at all the extra stones and golds over here as well. The front is so valuable right now. Now, Hera's res collected's crazy, and that's those fish traps right there. So he should be in the better position as far as that's concerned. But comp-wise, I really think if Nicov just stays fully on skirm and mixes in some bombard cannons, I think this gets very dangerous for the Japanese. And Bulpy says, how much of Nicov winning against Hera in Wandering Warriors Cup was due to nomad settings? I don't think it was just nomad settings. I think Nicov trained his ass off for it. Which is why I keep bringing up the training aspect, because that's typically a big thing with Hera, with how he performs as well, right? I just don't think in TTL he's really done a lot of that yet, because it's not a knockout situation. Look, Nicov will see the fish traps. It's not necessarily the position you would expect to see him push an early imp. But this is exactly where he is. And Hera will start to lose his ships here. Imagine if Nicov brought a Vil to build a dock right now. Oh my god, Nicov, you're really gonna castle there when you've got no army to protect it, bro? Yeah, Hera's fishing ships are evacuating now. Here comes Hera to defend his eco. This is the problem. If you put all of your food eco here, it's so exposed. Nikov's castle's also on the way up as well. Hera doesn't really seem to have a response to that. Nikov's bringing more skirmishers in. Hera's bringing this army over. He needs a big mango shot on these mangonels. And the skirms. Oh! Nicov may have gone too far here. Nah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's Lithuanians. He's Nicov. Split micro from Nicov. Look at that. Easy as it gets. And if he mixes in some trebs on the front as well, Hera could have some really big problems. That disrupted half of that fish trap setup. That's not easy to set up again when you're under pressure now. If Nicov could cool his mind right now, get his res set to make trebs, and treb back Hera, I think Hera's in big trouble. Hera's in big trouble. And it's been a lot of sitting back and adapting. Japanese are normally setting the pace. Every single time I've seen Japanese play, it's man-at-arms, sneaking docks, taking pawn control. Here, it's been a lot of stabilizing from Hera, and Nicov has continued to pile on pressure and ask questions of Hera, who doesn't have ballistics right now. And waiting to see if Nicov can make some bombard cannons. Look at Nikov's resources, guys. Hera has just fallen off here. These Lithuanian skirms and all that additional speed has been so strong. Nicov, also, one relic right now, could potentially get more. He may, with the castle setup, go for Latus. Latus, ignore armor. And there's the bombard cannon. Japanese do not get bombard cannons. I think Hera should die from this position, but it's Hera, you know? This has been the exciting thing about TTL for me so far. Look at that, dude. Thank God Hera doesn't have bombard cannons. But, like, people know week one, there will be a couple players at the top who maybe aren't quite ready. Nikov's been training away with some of his gold bros, making sure they're prepped. And Hera deserves a ton of respect. He's got that ability, but Nicov loses a bombard cannon. A little messy here, but Nikov's ready to just smash him. Hera's trying to go samurai as he's losing his castles right now. It doesn't seem like Hera's really sure of what to do from this position. This gives Nicov time. Once this castle's down, he'll drop another one. And he has Elite Latus in already. He needs to just get some upgrades here. Also would be really beneficial for him to get this relic. There's also a stone there he doesn't see. Hera's trebs are back here waiting right now. Hera even just now getting ballistics. With full armor coming in for those Latus now from Nicov. This is his time. This is his time. If he has Latus mixed in with these skirms, he should be able to run right in. But his Latus aren't here. All of his skirms aren't here. Hera's trebs in defense right now are going to take out a few of these trebs from Nicov. A nice hold from Hera here. Oh, man, that's wasteful for Nicov. He's giving Hera a real chance from this position. Now Nicov, in a panic, will dive with his Latus to snipe Hera's trebs. There's a lot of samurai in there. There's castle fire in there as well. That was a really good fight for Hera. A nice hold from Hera. But he gets pushed off this gold by this next castle from Nicov. More Latus will come. The skirms are still here. We don't even see tower shields yet. The skirms could get even stronger. And now Hera will use his trebs in an attempt to push these castles back. If Nicov finds this gold, though, Hera will start to lose a lot. And if Nicov can repair this castle and bring bombard cannons, Hera's trebs could just be sniped. Hera's still got big problems here, guys. Big problems. More upgrades on the way for Nicov. Nicov is fully popped. Hera's got an army of samurai, which aren't elite yet, and skirmishers. Obviously, the skirms are elite, but that's a castle age upgrade, so that's not quite the same thing here. Even chemistry was late from Hera. Just very late on some upgrades because Nicov has been bringing constant pressure. Hera takes out the castle. Latus, though, on the sides will become a constant threat. Nicov needs to save this castle. You can't lose this castle here if you're Nicov. I don't know if he will, guys. The raids are coming in. Hera, no response to that. Still no Halb. The latest skirmisher bombard cannon mass on the front from Nicov is so good. Hera's trebs will start to fall. Nicov should probably be able to keep this castle up. Hera's skirms disappear. And Hera's trebs are going to disappear as well. Still a little surprised that Nikov's not repairing this castle. To lose this castle could still make things awkward for him here. But there's still only one treb from Hera. Hera has no map control. There's still Latus in the back of his base. Another treb goes down. Hera's lost 40 eco this game. He's at 140 pop to start Titans League Season 4, and he's just completely out of res. He's got this to mine. The stone and gold on the left. He's got 2 relics. But Nikov's, he's just not going to he's not going to give Hera a chance back into this game. There's no way. Like, Hera's this castle away from losing this game. This position is everything for him. All of his eco now is here. Nicov will drop another castle. You could tell, I think Nikov's, like, concerned he's going to throw, right? He's very patient in this position, which must be infuriating for some Nicov fans, because you're like, bro, just kill him, right? But he almost doesn't believe he's in the position to get the job done right now. And so he's slowly crawling Hera, like creeping in and crumbling Hera's empire down. The Latus will make it into the back. It is Elite Samurai now for Hera. They do have a bonus against other unique units. You don't see Samurai every day. They should be decent enough. Now look at Hera's treb setup too. Like, Hera's doing everything he can to hold, but there's no Samurai here. Nicov should take this fight and win this fight each and every time. The Samurai, there's not enough Samurai here. Here come those Latus. Nicov will engage. Hera's treb should fall. Hera's even got some monks in there. Hera's running out of stone, guys. He doesn't have enough to repair this. The Latus should massacre Hera. Hera's castle will fall. His army disappears. And does his hope disappear that he can win the game? Snags a relic there, but the monk goes down. Nikov's still holding the hill. And Nikov's skirms, again, still don't have tower shields. They still don't have the additional armor. But he has the Latus in the front of them all the time. He always has the hill bonus. Hera now 1 castle to produce Samurai, guys. And that's not enough as Nicov sends the message with another castle on the front. I almost didn't believe the words I was saying. I mean, it's Hera we're talking about. But prior to this, last time these two faced, Nicov knocked Hera out of Wandering Warriors Cup. The narrative from some, you know, and there was even a question from the chat. It's like, well, how much of that was the settings? Cross is a map that's been in competitive AoE for 10 plus years, as long as both of these two have been around. And who's to say Nicov can't win this whole series now? What a great start from Nicov. I loved the confidence from Nicov. I loved the bit of mind game from Nicov. The forward dock with the fishing ship, that ended up being pretty epic, because let me re-explain to you what that essentially does, right? Typically, the man-at-arms is how you open with the Japanese. Now, that wasn't Hera's initial build, and maybe there's some questions there. But Hera saw this... Hera saw this right away. So 8.5 minutes. So this is before he builds the barracks. So Hera essentially goes, okay, I have to kill this, so I will instead go for 2 docks to defend. And all he defended from was a freaking fishing ship, bro. He made 5 fire galleys for a fishing ship. This might be some new meta stuff here from Nicov. And so he doesn't go for man-at-arms. He doesn't apply a lot of pressure. And it was a very defensive opening from Hera. I think part of that as well is Hera can sometimes play very defensive. And he likes to boom up and macro behind those walls and then have this big like injection of army later. But I don't know if this is necessarily the matchup for it. The way Nicov played this was perfect. In the matchup, I think Lithuanians are better in the late game. And if that's the case, Hera needed more aggression. He just was not able to win fights that game. Also, how big was Nikov's fish trap raid on the dock as well? That was pretty epic. Hera had crazy food in Wood Eco, but he just did not have Golden Stone because he didn't have map control. He couldn't find a counter to the skirmishers there. So, interesting start to the series here. All right, game 2. So let's see what happens here. Now, the final game, regardless of what happens here, is on Shoals. And Shoals is a bit of a water map. And so Nicov has Italians there. I'm fairly certain he's going to play it. Hera had Chinese on the draft. Now, he did draft Khmer right away. So I think Khmer are certainly top tier on this map. I think he's going to make them look good. But I'm a little surprised that Hera doesn't go for Chinese here. It almost makes me think that maybe Hera will consider Chinese for game number 3. This map is Rocky Forest. And Rocky Forest, you can't build on the rocks. So if you can't build on the rocks, you then have less efficient eco. Now, where Khmer can shine here is they could just plop a house next to their lumber camp, and even though you can't wall in your villas, you could actually hop in and out of the house. So Khmer could be very smooth. Hera's gold is very far forward here, I have to say. That is as far gold as you could possibly get on Rocky Forest. And Nicov, really nice map gen for him. Bit of map hacks. He's got the back berries, back gold. Here's something, though, so I say that, right? And here's something that I think about. I think on Rocky Forest, you want to be able to take lumber next to where you're taking gold. So if you go wood here, I know it feels like that's exposed, but then with one tower, you protect both. And we very frequently see towers on this map because we very frequently see tons of army, and you can't wall. Without the rocks, obviously, you full wall, this map becomes like, I don't even know, a fast castle map at that point, so we'll see. Hera's got stone and gold available on the back. There's additional berries as well. But yeah, I think Hera will probably open with scouts. Khmer is a comfort pick for him. Khmer are very good in messy games as well, and this could easily become that. It's already tough to get into Hera's eco and kill vills. But then when he has the bonus of hopping inside of the houses, it's like, yeah, it's going to be all about army control for Nicov. Like, you're not going to get many vill kills. What you're going to get instead is a situation where Hera's vills just don't work. You know, and they're stuck inside of a house instead of being killed. But yeah, really fun map. Obviously, if you look towards the middle, there's lots of stone and golds. There's one relic in the middle, and then the other relics are scattered around the outside here. But let's see what Nicov can do. I really like both civs. Both civs are two of the best farming civs in the game. These would be my top 2 in terms of farming. There might be some other civs out there you think of, like Poles or like Franks. But Nikov's victory game 1 was not a fluke. Again, it wasn't an all-in. We had every aspect of the game, Dark Age all the way up to the Imperial Age. And so Nicov should be like, all right, let's just do it again. There won't be a sneaky fishing ship mind game in this, though. Unless there's a random pond somewhere on the map that shouldn't be there. You don't need your buildings to click up if you're Khmer. Hera didn't build a lumber camp or a mill, which is kind of interesting. I think you could also execute on this build, having made a lumber camp with 1 or 2 vills. And he makes his lumber camp there. Yeah, it almost looked like he wanted to instinctively make his lumber camp here. Because without the rock, that's the best lumber camp. And then he's like, oh yeah, there's rocks here. We can't do that. Tiny details. Every player will do this, but you see how he starts to chop with those vills before the lumber camp's complete instead of building it with all of them? Some of those vills will start to walk back, but he'll just fix that real quick. Just getting that wood as quickly as possible. And then Nicov crams his lumber camp in there as well. And Nikov's up at pretty much the same time, but not exactly the same time. He's actually a lot later than Hera here, because Hera also skipped Loom. So Hera's up very quickly, but he doesn't need to build the barracks. What would be sick for Hera if he could push in this deer as quickly as possible and move forward and catch Nikov's scout could be really strong. Any amount of damage you can get here would be the best. But this is just... So far, this map has largely been a deer push fest because players don't take the risks to actually go to the middle unless they're Mongols. Like, you just... At this level, when all the action's coming through the middle, people just don't want to send vills out there. And I don't blame them. You take as much food as you can, and then you shift towards farms. Something I really like to do with Khmer, I've tested it quite a bit, is you don't even build your mill. Don't even leave the vills exposed. You just build farms anyways. You don't need it. Like, okay, horse collar's great, but maybe you can delay that for a little while. Wait until later on in the game. Here's Hera. And he sees what's going on with Nicov. Nikov's bringing a spear. Hera's waiting. Hera's like, I'm going to get the kill. Nicov brings the spear, and they both are just one hit away from death now. But Hera can't make spearmen. So sometimes you'll see people add a barracks now so they can make spears. But typically, the Khmer player is really resistant to that idea. Hera will build these farms. I think the farms will complete right after Horse Collar as well. Yep, good timing. And his scouts are on the way, but Nikov's got a spearman out already. It'll take a little bit of time to cook here for Nikov's eco. He's not floating massive amounts of food just yet. He needs to have more farms up. With Hera, he hasn't made the barracks. You would expect it with Khmer to have the food eco for the scouts earlier. One of those scouts is weak. Nicov sees it. Nicov wants that kill. And Hera also wants this kill. Feels likely that Hera could get the kill he's seeking. And Nikov's gold is over here now. So if you have the tower or the wood, then you're potentially off of gold as well. It's not easy. And Hera gets the first kill. And Hera stacking all three of those houses next to the wood. And now we'll move out to the gold, which could be for bloodlines. But that also could be for archers. Or a combination of both. But if I were to give you just a number to base the bloodlines upgrade on, I would say 6 minimum. Getting bloodlines, the fairly expensive upgrade. Getting it for anything below that can surprise your opponent, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily ideal. Hera really doesn't want to lose that scout. And like I said, the eco is starting to spike up now for Nicov. Fastest farmers in the game. And he's played a nice defensive opening here. And there's the range from Hera. Interesting, he's built the range there instead of next to his stable. Does leave the front of his base a little bit more exposed, but he's pretty much got houses everywhere. Here comes Nicov, and Hera's like, nope, won't allow it. And this tight choke point's actually helpful for Hera. It all depends on how you view it, right? It's the same with the gold being forward. This is actually good, in my opinion, for Hera, if he plays with that properly. And now Nikov's headed to gold. Now, with the Slavs, you would almost expect the Slavs to want to stay on scouts and only scouts because of how their eco plays out. Archers isn't a great long-term play with them. Now, I wonder if Hera built the range where he did to hide the fact he's on archers. Nikov's going to see that now. Hera loses his scout in there. But this gold timing from Nicov makes me think bloodlines. And I would actually like double stable scouts. Ooh, wow, look at this. Okay, so Nicov probably won't even build a mining camp here, guys. But he recognizes he needs 2 towers. So he'll tower his wood line. And he wants to tower that gold as well. So this is just going to be 2 trips back and forth. And Nicov... Oh, dude, this is about to get crazy. So he's abandoning the middle. He will lose the scout. That's sloppy. He forgot about that. Hera's advancing forward with bloodlines and with archers. Yet, like, Nicov just cannot engage against this right now. And here comes Hera to pounce on the wood line. He'll see the spears. But he doesn't know about the tower yet. And there's the tower. Nikov's tower goes up at the perfect time. And now Hera has to think twice about this. And now Hera's probably like, okay, well, I'll go to the rest of his base. And look at this from Nicov. A little late. But he's able to build a second tower. Now Hera needs to recognize he is being counterattacked. He has not seen an army here. There's obviously an army out from Nicov. He saw it before. He should recognize. Let's see what Hera can do here. Look at him. He actually moved the vills. I think he wants to tower his own. I think he wants to tower, though. Thing about Nicov, though, is he doesn't have a ton of vision on the rest of the area of the base. He doesn't actually know where the wood line is. Here he goes. Hera has no army here. Hera needs to react. Forging is on the way for Nicov. Hera just had no clue this was coming. He just gets completely blindsided. And Nicov snipes 2 villagers. What a creative move from Nicov. The double tower defense. The scout rush now. Hera didn't have time to get into the house he built here. With forging in, this could lead to another vill kill. Hera still could be completely fine. You know, his eco could be stabilized. He's still Khmer. He's still got the stronger army, but a nice snipe there from Nicov. I like this from Hera. I love how quick he was to this as well. So this tower, it makes it so Nicov can't focus on this woodline anymore, and he'll have to go somewhere else. So just the pure existence of that tower means Nicov has to kind of place a crappy lumber camp again, which players are normally beyond at this point of the game. But it still would. You still need it, right? Hera stops chasing those scouts around, which is interesting. He does still have a big army in the middle. Could have maybe considered chasing this way. But I think Nicov has to respect that possibility. He was almost expecting it. And Hera also a minute of idle time. And now he wants to dive this tower. So here he comes. Nikov's got an army behind. Nikov's tower is about to get shot down, but Nicov will have bloodlines in a second. Nicov comes in with his vills. He'll lose a villager because of that, but he does have a pretty big army, and Hera's whole army isn't here. Surprised that Nicov isn't engaging here, actually. He is forging. He has bloodlines, and yeah, he deletes the lumber camp. The rest of Hera's army is coming, though. This could be really problematic for Nicov. Hera's archers are just spear snipers at this point. And yeah, Nicov really needs to snag armor as well. Hera has better scout upgrades. Hera also has the archers behind. There's not many spearmen here. This should be better for Hera. Nicov just doesn't have the time to be patient now because he no longer has the tower because the wood is so exposed. Beautiful job from Hera. Yeah, more armies on the way. And on Rocky Forest, guys, this could just end the game. Like, unless you're Khmer, unless you can hop inside of houses like Hera can. Yeah, Hera knows. I'll snipe the army. The vills are mine then. And Nikov's having big trouble. And he calls the GG. Nicov, I've thought had some really creative play here. But in the end, he just didn't have the scout production he needed. He didn't have the scout production. He didn't have the upgrades. I'm not really sure what the issue was there. Part of that, obviously, is trading some HP to get some Vil snipes. But I think this was a point where Nicov could have potentially had 3 stable spam. It just wasn't quite able to get there. And Hera obviously didn't give him any time to breathe. Hera dropping another stable here, too. I actually want to look at this. So this stable produced 77% of the time. Nikov's stable produced 72% of the time. Then this stable's 82%. I mean, that's pretty good production. It's just Hera just had the army out faster, which is what the Khmer are able to do, right? So well played. I think we'll see a lot of games like this on Rocky Forest. I think both of these two show how you should probably play it with lots of army because it's an exposed map. If you can't wall there, Hera ties it up 1-1. And now we move up to the home map of Nicov. Great response there from Hera. Yeah, Res Collect is just very close. I wonder if that tower from Hera kind of affected Nikov's potential to get the 3rd stable out there. Certainly felt like it did, right? Villagers are off of wood. He then has to invest 100 wood into another lumber camp. With 3 or 4 more scouts in that engagement, it maybe is 50-50. Then he has a villager lead, then he slabs, and then maybe everything's okay. GG. All right, here we are. We are greeted into game number 3 by a groan from the water buffalo. Like, oh, not again. Koreans for Hera. As we go on to Shoals, which is the home map from Nicov. And Nicov has played this many times in the past, and he has the Civ that is a great win rate so far. I think Italians and Malay have so far been the top 2 in this map. I don't think we've seen Koreans yet. So Italians for Nicov. Cheap fishing ships, cheap age up, great late game civilization. Koreans, cheap ships, cheap trash, good campy late game civilization. Can't be very strong. Could see guard towers, could see keeps, could see turtle ships. So sometimes people go fast castle on this map, and typically you go fast castle into fire ships to kill the fish. It wouldn't be a very Hera thing to do, but there's a chance that Hera goes fast castle turtle ships here, guys. You have the sea tower to protect, so you can fish somewhat freely if the opponent brings in navy and feudal. And then once you're in castle, 2 turtles to clean up the middle. You don't need to travel far. And turtles are pretty clunky and chunky and slow, so it feels like a good situation to try it. But that would not be a play I would expect from Hera. What would happen from Hera typically is he would open fast feudal into galleys, or he would like fast castle boom or something. If it was Viper or maybe Doubt, who, by the way, also have had kind of a slow start in TTL so far. Well, not kind of. I mean, based on what was expected from both, their first round certainly hasn't quite been there. But yeah, I think they would do it. I don't think Hera's usually that type of player. But I think it could work. Now, Nicov, he's got two solid options. I've seen both with the Italians. You can still go fast feudal. But also, I've seen a lot of fast castling here. It's just because the sea tower. If the sea tower wasn't there, this would be fast feudal, galley war every single freaking game. The sea tower saves us from a monotonous galley war, so... What's up, Blanc? Thank you for the 19 months. Yeah, so let me read off some results that took place so far in Titans League Round 1, okay? And as I said earlier in the stream, I can't have a no-spoiler policy because there's games live every single day. What I will do is I'll aim not to spoil things that happened earlier in the day. That way of, like, you come in, let's say someone arrives in 2 hours, they really want to watch Hera Nicov. I'm going to aim not to talk about that as much for those type of people. But earlier in the week, obviously, if we had stuff happen, I'll talk about it. Doubt lost 3-0 to Sebastian. Sebastian looked insane. And Dark, one of many Fox players, I mean, Sebastian's one of them, who's been well-prepped and energized, youthful, and now full of experience. Dark beat Viper 2-1. Dark looked amazing, dude. And so, like, you bring that up because Hera was the favorite coming into this series, and even him losing a game would surprise some people. I asked people before, and I don't know if they were Omega fanboys or just realistic Age of Empires viewers, but they were like, Hera 3-0, 100%. I'll bet my life on it. Hopefully no one said that. So, yeah, just really good response from Nicov. At the end of the day, Plat's top 24 in the world. And if you're not on any given day, you will be punished in these groups. Hera, though, looks... I mean, he responded very nicely. Game number 2. Adding his fish eco now. And 5 on wood for Hera. Could still be a fast feudal. Nikov's walling, though, so Nikov's probably going for the fast castle attempt. What's up, Alvi? Alvi dropping in from YouTube, but sitting there with the 3-year Twitch sub badge. Thank you, Alvi. You're a legend, dude. Thank you so much. Mad King, first time here from YouTube. It's his first time viewer. Found you on YouTube. Really new to AoE. Was my childhood game. But now I have no knowledge. Amazing vids. Really enjoy it. What's up, Mad King? Salutes to chat, please. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. You picked a great time to catch up, man. Titans League will have just days after days after days of competitive AoE. Really good map so far. Things should be really fun, so. Poop Octopus says, T90, do you get the same from a Twitch sub as a Prime sub? No, there's a pretty big difference. It does depend on where you're from, but there's a very big difference. It used to be the same, but Twitch is Twitch, so they made it based on location now, and even that, they cut away a lot of the revenue from Prime subs, so. There still is revenue towards the creator. It's still free for you. It's still very beneficial. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it, but the answer is there is quite a big difference now. And Nicov even pushing in some extra deer here. Now, his golds are pretty rough here. This could happen on Shoals. Hera's aren't great either. Like, this gold, for example, is very exposed, but Hera does have this protected by some wood. Nicov, his other gold is actually beyond his walls here, so could eventually wall this off if he wishes to. And then I haven't said it or shown it, but it's pretty obvious, right? There's tons of gold over here. So, yeah, this does look like a hole for Nicov. But I can't... No, there's definitely a hole there. So that's actually not completely walled. Maybe he knows that. He has scouted it. But maybe it's hard to see because of that tree, that bush. I don't know which tree mod Nikov's using right now. T90, would it make sense to go first for the fish a bit further out? Yes, I think so if you're going 2 docks. So if you're going 2 docks, I think the best play is your first dock is, let's say, here. So you're fishing here in the Dark Age when there's no threat. And then when you build your second dock, you're then moving your fish to the safe area. But this is a fast castle from both. So this is not a situation where they're going to build 2 docks right away. So I don't mind what they've done, considering. Hera scouting Nicov right now. We'll see the Market Blacksmith. We'll know the build from his opponent. Walks by the sea tower. Nicov probably going to build dock number 2, and Hera sees that. And Nicov now checking to see what's up with Hera's base. Saw the Market Blacksmith. I think Hera's going... It feels like turtle ships from this one dock now. I feel like that's got to be the plan. And Hera's being a pain. He sees this gold. And he's really tempted to snipe a Vil, but if anything, he just wants Nicov to click off of gold. He's just being a nerd. It must be so annoying if you're Nicov. Hera, settle down, bro. But, I mean, that's letting Nicov know your gold is exposed. I'm aware of it. And it could make Nicov worried that Hera's going to send more. Hera's not actually going to do that, but he could. Nicov brings his scout all the way home now. T90, how many villagers do you need on wood to keep pumping fishing ships? It kind of depends a little bit, but 5 to 6. You could do that. You should, if you're not doing other things, you should be continuously able to produce fishing ships from 1 dock. Technically 5 at the highest level if you're doing it right. Go to wood a little bit earlier or something, but 6 for the average player. Nicov bringing Vils this way, and Hera sees this. Hera knows exactly what this is for as well. That Vil's rather weak, but Nikov's scout is on the way. And Hera's also coming over here to build a TC on gold. Ooh. I wonder if Hera could turn this into a siege monk push. Certainly could turn it into a siege push. War galley upgrades on the way now for Nicov. And so now he'll feel he has the strength to push in against the sea tower. But don't go before, Nicov. Don't go too early. Oh, he's distracting the sea tower. Oh, that was nice. Hera had to right-click there. Nice work there from Nicov to get it nice and close. Said, say goodbye, fishing ships, Hera. Your fishing ships are going to melt. The sea tower does have murder holes. So you don't need to research murder holes for the sea tower, which is part of what makes it so strong. And it fires 3 projectiles. The sea tower is insane, dude. Like, if TCs were like sea towers, we would never see the laming underneath the TC that we see these days. I'm not necessarily proposing that change, but they're very strong. And Hera actually canceled his turtle ship. So Nicov will have full water control. Still chasing Hera's scout over here. Will drop his 3rd TC. And now he's over here. But I think Hera spotting this is massive. Nicov does not know that, well, he's about to find out, but he's not aware of this. And if Hera can get some Vils onto stone and just build a guard tower here, it becomes very difficult for Nicov to defend this position. And you get the guard tower upgrade for free, right? Like, this is perfect for Koreans. This isn't typical Hera, but I think he should know now to put a couple Vils on stone. The siege defense would just not really be realistic for Nicov if a guard tower goes up. Now, Hera's scout went down, so Nicov will have that scout active on the map, potentially. And Nicov still has those 7 fishing ships working. So, it's not the most efficient ever, but it is still helpful. Hera temporarily just accidentally queued up a trade card. I don't know if anyone saw that. But he canceled that. And now his second Mangonel's on the way. Monk defense could also work for the Italians. You do get redemption. I really don't like it when players build their monasteries here on this map. I would much prefer they build their monasteries at home and just have the relics for later. Oh, man, but Hera's Mangonel just got sniped. Nice job there from Nicov. And that's what I mean. Like, you need to get a tower up there. And then it becomes very difficult for the opponent to do that. Why not 2 knights from Nicov? Because Hera will have monks. And because you don't have the eco for it. 2 very big reasons. Hera's too smart to just be out here without adding a monastery as well. Anytime you see a siege workshop, it's almost always accompanied by a monastery. But also, the food is at the limit for both of them on 3 TCs. They do not have the eco to justify any of that right now. But they'll get there. Things will start to rise slowly. Could definitely get there. Now, what Hera wants, he wants to kill this mangonel, and then if he gets the mangonel advantage, immediately drop that tower. He's not dropping it yet. It might actually be stone for a castle, too, but, like, I think a tower would be perfect. I also like the outpost from Hera. You can't build the castle in the middle here either. Yeah, Nicov. He'll aim to kill this. Scout is microing. Vils are coming from Hera to repair. Hera's Vils get there in time. Nikov's scout, though, still could threaten. Still could be frustrating for Hera to deal with. And Hera gets it. Koreans don't have as much minimum range on their mangonels. I was just going to mention how important that is. And Hera sees that as his opportunity now to build a castle. But this is like... This is riskier than a tower, dude. Oh, God! Hera shot a deer. He also shot the monastery. That castle's not going to happen now. Disaster. He goes from a big snipe, and he suddenly becomes very relatable all of a sudden. That was horrible for Hera. Build a tower, Hera. Like, one tower. You got a tower, man. I'm shocked. Guard tower's free. It's free. It's a free upgrade. You're Koreans. You just lost your mangonels. A tower would be so helpful here. But he's waiting for that castle. I do not need to restate how big this would be. Nicov, where are you going, bro? Nicov, are you really going to roll your siege through the water and let this castle go? Well, it might not go up. Hold on. Hold on. Redemption's in for Nicov soon. He could convert the mangonel. Hera just needs to delete that and his castle goes up. I am mind blown that Nicov left with his siege. I am mind blown that he's leaving with his siege. Oh, I'm mind blown that Hera didn't delete there. Hera, what is happening? Oh, this is going to be so rough for Hera. The castle should go up. Nicov will block with the, Hera will block with the monk there. And yeah, the mangonel goes down. Okay. Okay, but here is Nikov's master plan. To start to siege push Hera's main base out of nowhere. I actually want Nicov to come castle drop this. Hera doesn't see this. Now he does. Well, let's think about this, guys. Like, obviously Hera has the castle, but Hera has no defense here. And he didn't know was coming. And he is getting slaughtered. He just lost 14 eco this game. Hera will start to push. We'll think about another castle. Nikov's probably in full panic mode. This is very hard to defend. But in theory, monks could be the answer. Still would love to see Hera scatter towers around. Towers help a lot in this situation. Hera tries to take the relic. That will never work. The siege is still here. And Hera built a guard tower. What a messy game. What a messy, messy, messy game. It is Hera now running forward. So he doesn't actually have that many vills on gold, and he wants to take the main base from Nicov. Hera doesn't have a monk here anymore because he tried to get the relic, and now the knight can snipe his siege. Very wasteful here. A great job from Nicov to think about this. Hera could maybe repair this and save this, but Nikov's building a castle at home to defend, and what is this game right now? This game is crazy. Hera will save the mangonel. And now the siege from Nicov, I don't even know where it's going to go. We've got monks walking through the middle getting relics. This game is complete chaos right now. And now Hera's dropping a castle here. Nicov already has his own castle. I think there's still a hole here. The war wagons could be a big problem. Nicov needs to be fully walled. Nicov is about to click imp. If there's a hole and these war wagons run in, Nicov has no defense. Here comes a Mangonel and a Knight into Hera's base, where Hera also has no defense. And Nicov is on the way to Imp, guys. Nicov is on the way to Imp. The Sea Tower from Nicov can actually help decent amount in defense, as can the ships. Nicov has walled off towards his docks here. So Hera will have limited options. In Imp, Nicov can make trebs to take down Hera's castle here. The Mangonel micro from Nikov's fantastic. Hera is walling in the Knight, but he's just going to destine those villagers to die. And Hera can't really advance easily here. This is so messy, guys. What a lovely game. What a crazy game for a game 3. Hera's eco's not bad, but it's not great either. Oh, can the Knight escape? The Knight escapes! Oh, that's so frustrating for Hera. Nicov really needs gold, and he will find it now. He will build a TC over here. If he can make trebs, he can start to unravel Hera and take 2 huge wins to start off this season. Yeah, Hera's siege will not advance. Down it goes. Nicov needs to be very careful against these wagons. Also, there's still vills here from Nicov that Hera has not killed yet. Nicov has been repairing this TC and just hanging in there. Oh god, and now Nicov is trying to trap Hera's war wagons. And Hera will get away. Nicov is going to attempt a ram push here too, so he knows Nikov's probably up and that he's behind. And okay, Nikov's TC will get rammed down. Nicov evacuates across the middle. Does Nicov see the siege workshop? He does. So he will know. And as the war wagons chase, the war wagons will die to the fires. Nicov will lose a lot of vills, though. Hera's eco's safe now. But he's nowhere near Imp. In these situations, it really just comes down to, does the player in Nikov's position know rams will come? And if they know rams are going to be here, one Mangonel behind the castle properly placed, and the ram push usually doesn't work. Oh my god, dude. Dude, Nicov, bro, I'm telling you, I appreciate the chaos we are seeing. I don't know if you need that, my friend. I really think a castle over here, like a relaxed type of game, and you could maybe be okay. Maybe. Hera's about to go for a crazy ram push. That will come. Here comes Nicov. He wants the chaos. And he is going to drop a castle on Hera's starting TC here. And he's bringing Genoese crossbowmen to protect. Hera can't stop that. Nicov, look at the gates from Nicov. Behind here, just so the war wagons can't run past to snipe the Mangonel. That's actually a huge move. Hera's sinking his stone into repairs. And now Hera's being castle dropped. What a game from Nicov. Defensive towers everywhere from Hera now. And here he comes, guys. Hera, to have a chance, has to snipe that Mangonel. He has to. He will run underneath the castle to do so. He needs this castle to go down, and he could do it. That's a lot of rams. That's a lot of rams. Holy crap, that's a lot of wagons. The castle will fall for Nicov. 100%. He knows it. He's building more gates because of it. He loses his castle. Now, he does get conversions. The rams are still... Oh, the rams take down the gates. And now Nikov's army is coming back in a panic. His castle's going to go up. What a game, dude. Can these war wagons from Hera give him this game? Can the ram war wagon push continue in to Nikov's base? Nicov only has fletching on the on his Genoese. Hera, ram after ram, wagon after wagon. He'll take out another Mangonel. Panic TCs from Nicov. Here come the Genoese. He is getting Bodkin. Oh, and Hera's got a TC here. If Hera can tower here, he'll have control of both golds. And there's no better time to try it. Okay, the Genoese are here. They have a bonus damage versus cavalry. They won't have imp upgrades, but there's still a lot of them. And Nikov's microing his heart out here. Bodkin arrows in. The Vils now can take out the rams. This castle can make trebs to take out all of Hera's eco. And Nikov's repairing the TC and attacking at the same time. But he doesn't have a castle nearby to make more Genoese. This is so brutal. And he loses the TC. But Hera's losing his wagons. But he is gaining the gold. But Hera is losing his starting area. Hera's base is going to be split in two here. I would have really loved if Hera could advance forward with towers as he got through here. Like, this area is still potentially going to be Nikov's. But I don't know if it will be, actually. The wagons are good enough. If Hera could tower here, as well as having the towers here, Nicov might be in big trouble. Even if, like, he's got the trebs here. Nicov needs Genoese, and he needs upgrades on the Genoese. His only castle is at Hera's base, bro. It's at Hera's base. But Hera has 8 on food. So, like, Nicov actually needs wood more than anything. And, oh god, I don't know what just happened here. But he didn't know. Okay, he rushed down the tower, and he didn't know there was a TC from Hera. That makes sense then. Here comes Hera chewing on in again. But there's a castle he has to take out. He needs to take out this castle. Can he do that? Again. And can he defend himself here? Hera's losing TCs. Hera 2 on food, guys. 2 on food. He will never reach Imp. Nicov has enough gold where he could buy whatever he needs for now. And then hope to reclaim this gold. But Hera just needs to tower like a madman. Man, there's so much eco that Hera could still find. But it's so messy. Hera will only have TCs on gold soon. Listen, guys, don't get used to this. Like, if you're a big fan of what you're seeing here, I'm going to just ruin that for you. This will not be what happens in Shoals the rest of this tournament. One can hope, but it's not going to be the case. But we can appreciate it while we have it, can't we? Hera is now attacking Trebs with Vils, because that's all he has. And now his Vil count's dropping. Feels a bit unnecessary. And now Nicov sees the Ram. The Rams have been so effective. Nicov will hope to pack up. And Hera has found a lot of Vils from Nicov. Nicov really needs army here to deal with these wagons. Oh, his Vil count is so bad! But Hera loses his Ram, and Hera has nothing on food, bro. Nothing on food. They're both in such poverty right now. What is this? Nicov has no gold. Hera has no food. Like, Nicov can't push further than this. That might... Oh, hold on. The Genoese have something to say about that. They are parked right underneath there. Hold on. Oh, that's frustrating for Hera. Nikov's making a treb, so he could maybe take the gold back over here. Hera's diving into the castle. That will be a lot of dead units for Hera. Though no ballistics for Nicov yet. Okay, the Genoese from Nicov pull away from the tower. The tower completes. Nikov's now dropping a castle here, though, and he has a treb. Oh my god, Hera is parked underneath the castle. There's no murder holes. Nicov needs to notice that. That's a great play from Hera. This is so messy, dude. Nikov's still keeping these trebs alive and is making Genoese to protect them. This is now called Protect the Treb. There's Capture the Flag and there's Protect the Treb. This is ridiculous. Also, Hera made a turtle ship that just died to the tower. Look at him send wagons home right now. It's so funny. This game is hilarious. Hera will start to lose this area now. And the Genoese crossbowmen, now that they have some upgrades, now that Nicov has... We'll get access to gold again. Now that he's got 3 castles, become very dangerous. I think it's going to be hard for either player to settle down right now. But if Nicov can, and he can just conserve his mass, get to a solid group of Genoese, and avoid moments like this, he wins this game still. But it's hard to avoid moments like this because you know how bad this is for yourself as well, and you're up against Hera. Hera's added more food eco, but like he's got exposed eco everywhere as well. Nicov might... He also can reclaim some of his farms. I think Nicov might come this way for this castle. This gets interesting now. Nikov's best move is probably to treb this down. And if he does that, this gives Hera time to cook a little bit. And look at Hera. He's now ramming down the castle that was on his face from Nicov. And the trebs from Nicov have to flee in a hilarious fashion. Are we just going to have a reset? Like, okay, so imagine there's a history book, all right, of what happened between two civilizations. But the middle page was torn out where they castle dropped each other's faces. Hera's restarting again. Nikov's restarting again. If those pages aren't in the book, no one's going to know what actually transpired in the Great War between the Koreans and the Italians. Each player is going to have access to gold. This is like kind of like a normal game all of a sudden. Wow. Hera's food eco is rising. He'll get back to all his farms. He also has done, like, this is such an important area for him. And Hera's wagons will come over to disrupt Nicov, but Nikov's got TCs and castles. Hera is adding turtles, though, to try and reclaim water, which becomes more and more important on this map in a normal game as the game goes on. Nicov needs ballistics, dude. Ballistics would be so helpful here. But the Genoese are doing a really good job against the wagons. And Hera won't have castles to make many more wagons, which is the most important thing. He's got so many, though. And I say they're doing a really good job. Like, they're doing a really good job for a tiny little archer. They're not really that strong. And now another castle from Hera. From Nicov. And the rams are coming from Hera. How much damage have these rams done this game? Nicov actually needs murder holes, too. I'm not even kidding. Murder holes is needed. Ballistics is needed. He's Italian, so his university upgrades are cheap. Oh, man, this is going to be expensive. This could also be expensive for Hera. He lost his castle. He's diving there. I'm sure the focus is here. What is this, dude? What is happening? What is happening here? Nicov is losing so much just to keep this castle up. And Hera took out the Genoese and will take out the Trebs. Hera, 50 population lead. This is so worth it, man. At one point, Nicov had killed 45 vills and lost like 0. And now Hera has killed 97 and lost 45. Hera's done a crazy damage to Nikov's eco. And Nicov just cannot get back on track, guys. Hera will go up to Imp. He should be able to make it to Imp unless he goes Imp in a risky TC. No, that's fine. His war wagons get into the back. He still has all of this control. And I don't think he actually needs... Like, wagons are fantastic. But actually now I think this is a point of the game where Hera doesn't actually have to go for wagons anymore. I think dropping archer ranges and going for skirms would be good. Hello. Those trebs have been all around the world. They're going to go down. Yeah, Hera's got this under control now, big time. Almost double the villager lead. And his eco is somehow set up. After he lost his starting TCs, he was castle dropped on his face. What crazy resilience. It's been this crazy balance of Hera, like, attacking and defending with what he can. You can't plan for this. It's just all about, can you manage the chaos? And I think if I would have said one thing that Nicov could have planned around this game, or this series to get wins, chaos would have maybe been one of the things to mention. But those war wagons were just so tanky against the Genoese. That's the thing. When you go fast Imp, you're investing all your resources to Imp. You don't really have a lot of army, right? And that's what happened to Nicov with this castle back in his base. Can you imagine if Hera went Imp in this TC? Can you imagine? He didn't. But Hera might not really be thinking about this. That could have been his Imp TC. You'd lose it at 90-something%, but he will make it to Imp. Still no defense here for these Genoese crossbow. Hera needs to notice this. He's winning this game. But this is some real damage here he needs to react to. And he's also denying that TC from Nicov. What in the world? Yeah, so Hera's got a good enough economy now to go for skirms, which is what I was calling for. So that's what I expect. It's very cheap for the Koreans to make them as well. Hera also has water control. So we could get to cannon galleons from Hera in the middle as well. A pretty easy spot for the Korean player to defend, right? Just drop in towers. It took time for Hera to get going with that. But once he did, it was so tough for Nicov. And Genoese will advance forward. They'll just run into a keep everywhere they go. Like, Hera's got towers all over the place. You just can't raid with archers against this. But Nicov knows he has to because he's behind. He needs to kill. He's got some upgrade momentum as Hera's waiting for upgrades and skirms. So he's doing what he can. He's forcing a lot of idle time. Has ballistics now. Has chemistry now. And okay. Okay. Here we go. Nikov's going to drop a castle. He definitely knows he's behind. Like, there's no waiting and stabilizing from this position. The only thing you do is you just keep sending it. That's what he's trying. But these crossbows will die to the skirms. Fully armored. Koreans get that for free. This castle will go up for Nicov. Hera has quite a few vills over here that could be exposed. But still, Hera has war wagons finding vill snipes. He still has the water. He still has all of this eco. He's got such a good setup. Like, Hera can relocate these vills. As long as he doesn't lose every single one, he's still more than fine. Wow, and Nicov will try and reclaim water right now. Nikov's economy is so rough. Last time I was casting Nicov, an Argentinian showed up and said, he doesn't need economy. He's from Argentina. He's used to a bad economy. That's not my joke. That's someone from my chat's joke. But I think a better economy for Nicov would actually be really helpful here. This is rough, dude. This is rough. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. The fast fires will engage against the turtles. He still has golds. He has this castle. But Hera's double the pop, dude. The Hera's just massing those cannons, being a bit patient, waiting to strike on this castle. What a fun series, man. What a great series of Age of Empires 2. What a showing. I think Hera's going to be so happy he comes away with 2 wins here because this was close. He might feel like that he should have lost this game. And then you lose 1 game the first round. It's whatever. It's not that big a deal. Nicov, I think, will still end up being very happy that he took a win, but also he's so close to winning this game, he might not. Might have felt like he should have gotten the 2 here, but it was the chaos, it was the craziness. Honestly, I would say when we get so used to players performing so perfectly, it definitely was far from that from both of them. It just is such a difficult map to play. Well played from Hera to sort it out. Wins 2 straight after the amazing first game from Nicov. And as I said, you come into this, you tell Hera, listen, maybe you're a bit rusty. It's the start of the tournament. You only get 2 wins. Are you cool with that? He's competitive, so he might be like, crap, no, freaking no, I won 3. But still, he's probably like, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then Nicov, obviously, you get a win against the reigning champion of Titans League. Other people might struggle to get the same result. Are you going to be happy with that? I think Nicov will be happy with that. But guys, Nicov, very much looking forward to his future rounds. Nicov has played insane today. Put himself in the position to maybe get 2 wins. He played very well. He deserves all the respect and credit. And obviously Hera, the player to beat probably in the group. It will be a very exciting group there. Hera just had more eco that game. It's just the amount of damage he was able to do. Like, he rammed down that castle and then rammed down everything else. He rammed out a TC, rammed out another TC, another TC. That train of rams and wagons did insane damage. It was crazy. So much more than I would have expected. Nicov just... I also think, like, I wonder, that forward castle from Nicov obviously ended up doing a lot. But I feel like if that castle would have just been another defensive castle so he could stabilize a little bit, maybe he wouldn't have lost so much eco. But when you're in a game like that, you think it's like a boxing match where no one's playing defensive. It's like old boxing these days, or like fighting. These days, people don't take risks and they just chill. Not that I'm a fighting expert. Back in the day, people just swung, right? That's what that was like. You take damage, so you need to go and do extreme damage and take extreme risks to do even more damage to the next guy. So GG's, Hera wins 2-1. Now, let's quickly look to the group. Remind ourselves who's in the group, who's going to play next round, etc. And then we have a short break before Tato and MBL play in our next series, which should be, I mean, it's Tato MBL. It could be even better than that. So we're looking at Group B with the two we just saw. Sato already had a great start against Velezi yesterday, so Sato has 3 wins. It'll be Hera in second place, at least for now, with 2. And then our final cast of the day is Barl's Classic Pro. So we'll know the whole situation here in Group B at the end of today. Group A, we already know they played the prior days. So Leary, Sebastian, Yo at the top. Dragonstar snagged a win off of Yo. And Doubt and Margugu got swept by their opponents in the first round. Group C, we have MBL Tato coming up next. A lot of people said the Group C is the group of death. You can see the argument. Vinchester won 2-1 against Dogao in the first round. We have MBL Tato next. ACCM Capuch having scheduling issues right now. They should be playing in like maybe, I think we're going to be casting 2 sets from ACCM and Capuch this upcoming coverage week, which we'll talk about later. And then we already saw all of Group D close out where we have Heart at the top, Dark and freaking Andy in second place, and Viper tied for 4th place and 5th place with Valis. Because yet another performance where someone comes in round 1 ready to go, just like Nicov just did. And he snagged 2 wins. Dark looked really good, beat Viper 2-1. So Viper has some stepping up to do. So yeah, that's the group overview. All right.